This is the newest iPhone, the iPhone 16e, which I've been using full-time for the last 2 weeks. And you won't believe how much better this thing really is if you're still using an older iPhone. And I know what you're thinking, but stick with me for just a moment. If you're using an iPhone 16 or 15 or 14 or 13 or even an iPhone 12, this video may not be for you. But if you're currently using right now an iPhone 7, 8, iPhone 10, 10s, 10R, 11, SE, SE2, and you're looking for your next iPhone, then this video is for you. There really are so many upgrades in this iPhone 16e, and I'm going to get to all of that, but one of the most interesting things is actually the price. At $599 in the US, this is the same price an iPhone used to cost a long time ago. Yeah, that's right. The iPhone 3GS started at just $599. So if you upgrade to the iPhone 16e, you can get a super awesome upgrade for the same price that this iPhone cost in 2009. And let's be honest, if you buy the iPhone 16e through a carrier, you can probably get it for free. So what do you get in a 2025 iPhone 16e compared to whatever you have now? First up, you're going to get a flatter, more modern design. Your old iPhone probably has rounded edges and a 2.5D glass that just kind of rounds into the bezels. And honestly, if you're a naked iPhone user, then your old iPhone might actually feel better in your hand than the 16e. But with the rounded iPhones, they always felt slippery to me. The flatter edges of the 16e feels like there's just more surface area to grip onto, and it gives me a more secure grip. On the back, there's a much less fingerprinty or fingerprint-prone matte or frosted glass. Overall though, the design is similar to some previous iPhones, but in a more simple, clean, and dare I say, more elegant final state with the single camera design. On the inside of the iPhone 16e, you're going to find one of Apple's latest chips, the A18, which has 6 CPU cores and 4 GPU cores. And depending on what iPhone you're using right now, the speed increase could be insane. For example, the iPhone 16e is 1.9 times faster than the iPhone 11 Pro. It's a pretty awesome 3 times faster than the iPhone 10 and a staggering 6.3 times faster than the iPhone 7 in CPU benchmark tests. In GPU performance, the 16e is 1.7 times faster than the iPhone 11 Pro and 5.4 times faster than the iPhone 7, making this a really powerful upgrade. But what does all that really mean in just regular everyday usage? Well, it means apps can open faster, and games can run at better frame rates with less stutter and slowdowns, and the overall snappiness of the device just feels better, faster. And because the iPhone 16e has 8 gigabytes of memory, multitasking is just better because more apps are kept in limbo without needing to reload. Apps just run smoother. And if you use a lot of Safari tabs, you will see a lot less refreshing of pages when you switch back to them. The A18 chip also brings Apple Intelligence to the 16e, enabling features like Genmoji, enhanced writing tools, email summaries, and possibly future Siri updates, though I'm not exactly holding my breath on that. But even without the bells and the supposed whistles of Apple Intelligence, the sheer performance improvement is noticeable and impressive. When it comes to the screen, you won't believe your eyes. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. But most likely the display that you're using right now, whether it's LCD or even OLED like on the iPhone 10 or 11 Pro, maxes out at 625 nits of peak brightness. Well, the Super Retina XDR display on the 16e hits 800 nits for regular viewing, and when watching HDR content, it gets up to 1200 nits with a 2,000,000:1 contrast ratio for a great video experience. What this actually means to you is that viewing your iPhone is even easier in bright rooms or even outside compared to your old iPhone. In the last 2+ weeks, I've used this iPhone outside a lot in direct sunlight and even with sunglasses on, and I had no issues reading the display, checking apps, responding to messages, or anything else. At 6.1 inches, the iPhone 16e falls right between the 5.8-inch iPhone 10 and 10s and the 6.5-inch 11 Pro Max, and of course, it is really big compared to the 4.7-inch iPhone 7 or 3rd gen iPhone SE. And if you're still rocking an iPhone with a Touch ID button, you will finally move up to Face ID with the notch at the top of the display. Face ID is super fast and more secure than Touch ID. It's so fast to just pull your phone out, swipe up, and you're instantly in like magic. You basically don't notice any delay when you're unlocking it. And if you've always thought you would hate the notch on an iPhone, it simply just disappears after a day, and you never really notice it in day-to-day usage. Now, there are 2 other little physical changes on the iPhone 16e that I should mention, first being the action button, and then the replacement of the lightning port on the bottom with USB-C. Just above the volume buttons where the mute switch lives on your old iPhone, there's now the action button, which is customizable to let you choose what you want to do with it. You can set it to silent mode if that's what you're comfortable with, or you can use it to set a focus mode on your iPhone, open the camera, turn on the flashlight, and more, or just about anything when pairing it with a custom shortcut. In the past few years of using the action button on iPhones, I've tried most things, including trying to use it to open up my garage door and unlock my car, but I've pretty much just settled on using it as the flashlight button. This is just something that I use on a surprisingly regular basis and find it super helpful. Whether I'm looking for a screw I dropped on the floor, or looking for something in the attic, or going for a late night walk to get the mail, it's just super convenient to easily be able to pull the iPhone out and turn on the flashlight without thinking about it. And if you want to use the action button for something new, but think that you might actually miss the utility of the silent button on the side of the iPhone, you can always add it to Control Center for easy access, and then the action button is available for whatever you want. Now, when it comes to the USB-C port, if you have a collection of lightning cables, I feel your pain. Changing cables is inconvenient, especially if you're not going to benefit from the extra compatibility USB-C offers, like connecting external devices like microphones or SSDs. The upside, however, is that the new standard is far more versatile for accessories going forward. Wireless charging is still available if you primarily use your port for charging, or maybe you already use wireless charging. There's 7.5 watt Qi charging in this guy already, so that's another option if you want to do wireless charging instead of using a lightning cable or a new cable to charge your phone. So now I want to talk about the camera, because I think some of you might feel that it could be a downgrade. If you have an iPhone 10 or any iPhone with a main camera and a telephoto zoom lens camera, you might think that you're missing out by going back to an iPhone with a single lens. But the good news is the iPhone 16e has Apple's Fusion camera, which is Apple's 2-in-1 camera system that has a 1x main camera and a 2x optical zoom built in. So most older iPhones with two lenses have a 12 megapixel 1x main camera and a 12 megapixel 2x zoom lens. And the zoom lens is always much slower and lesser quality than the actual main lens. The main camera is always a larger sensor and requires less light, making better photos. And in fact, if you actually used the zoom lens in low light most of the time, it defaults to a cropped in version from the main sensor anyway for a better photo. The single camera in the iPhone 16e is a 48 megapixel sensor, which gives you a huge increase in photo quality. And because it is so large, Apple's able to actually optically crop a portion of the sensor to give you a 2x zoom telephoto option. That is not a digital crop, and it gives you a superior 2x photo over your older 2x lens without needing a second lens at all, and thus a cleaner single camera look on the back. Now, unfortunately, if you're rocking an iPhone with an ultra-wide camera like the iPhone 11, then you might be disappointed because you don't actually get the option with the 16e. If you want a wider shot than what you can get with the main camera, you're actually just gonna have to try and move backwards a few steps to create that wider shot. Now, one thing you definitely will not be disappointed with is the battery. It's crazy good. Looking at my last 10 days, you can see that I'm getting an average of over 5 hours of screen on time. I'm using around 50 to 60% of the iPhone during the day and go to bed with around 40 to 50% of battery left over each night. I'm using this phone pretty heavily and still going to bed with plenty of battery left over. You can see that I'm mostly using Safari, some YouTube, Blue Sky, Teams, Reddit, Pocket Casts for podcasts, and some other things that I use on the regular for my regular everyday stuff and for my job. Apple's weird battery stats say that the 16e can get up to 26 hours in video playback compared to about 13 hours of the iPhone 7 or 15 hours on the iPhone SE3 or 20 hours on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So no matter what, you're looking at a 50 to 100% increase in battery compared to when your iPhone was brand new. And after this many years, your battery is degraded, so you should probably expect quite a bit more. You might go from needing to charge multiple times a day to being able to get almost 2 days out of the battery on the iPhone 16e. The 16e battery has been just fantastic. Like I mentioned before, and like most of these other iPhones support, there is 7.5 watt Qi charging built into the 16e, so you can use your existing wireless charging pad to get juiced up as needed. And although the iPhone 16e does not support MagSafe 15 and 25 watt charging, you can still use MagSafe chargers and batteries if you get a case with MagSafe magnets. So for example, this blue F&T case, which actually I like a lot, will allow me to use my iPhone 16e with my bedside charger or even this MagSafe battery. And 7.5 watts is just fine when I charge the iPhone overnight. And if you need a fast charger or faster charger, you can get a 50% charge in just 30 minutes with USB-C using the bottom port. Now, there are just a few other things that will be nice upgrades over your old iPhone. There's 5G for faster wireless internet. Plus, it's using Apple's own modem, the C1, for the first time. I guess the best compliment I can give it is I never noticed anything different compared to any other modern iPhone. The connectivity has been stable, reliable, solid, and just about as fast as every other device that I have. And that goes for call quality as well. If Apple did not explicitly tell us that they were using a new modem, it would not even have occurred to me that something was different. The speakers in the 16E are loud and clear. I use them for podcasts throughout the day, some video watching. I compared them against the iPhone 11 Pro, and they are louder, more clear, and have a wider range than the iPhone 11 Pro. The 16E has the emergency SOS via satellite for help if you're stranded in the middle of nowhere. It's got crash detection and roadside assistance and messages via satellite. And luckily, I've never needed any of the SOS features, but I'm sure glad to know that they're there should the time ever come. The iPhone 16E is also more water resistant at up to 6 meters for 30 minutes. It has a ceramic shield for a stronger display, and after 2+ weeks, I have no scratches or anything on it. There's Wi-Fi 6 for faster internet at home, Bluetooth 5.3, better gyros, better light sensors, and probably something else I'm forgetting. But the bottom line is that the iPhone 16E has a lot going for it over your old, worn-out iPhone. And if you're still rocking a 5-year-old iPhone or older and looking for your next iPhone that will last 5 years or more and not break the bank, then the iPhone 16E offers a ton of upgrades and features you'll probably be happy with. Of course, you could pay a lot more money for an iPhone 16 or 16 Pro if you want slight upgrades in display, wireless charging speed, performance, or a superfluous button to control the stupid camera. But everything you want from a core iPhone experience is already in the iPhone 16E. So that's the iPhone 16E. What do you guys think about it? Does it look like a good upgrade over your current busted up old iPhone? Let me know in the comments down below, along with what iPhone you'll be upgrading from. If you have decided to get the new 16E and want help getting it set up and get all of your stuff transferred over, check out this video right over here. I will step you through the whole process. Hit the thumbs up button if you like to, hit subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.